I had said in class that I wasn't going to ask you on the test to just graph a rational function. There's too many pieces for it to be an effective test question. Instead, what I was going to do is give you a sign chart and the limit of the function and ask you to sketch the graph from that. So let's try it right here. First of all, with f of x, we see that it has a 0 and a vertical asymptote. And since the limit as x approaches infinity is 0, it's going to have a horizontal asymptote on the x-axis. So we just graph. On the left interval, it's got to be negative. So starting from the 0, it's got to go down. But there's this horizontal asymptote, so it's going to come back to the asymptote this way. So there's just kind of a little bump there, and it comes back. On the next interval, it's going to extend from 0 upward and be positive, but then get over to the vertical asymptote over here. So the next portion will look kind of like this. And on the third interval, it'll stay above the x-axis and getting close to both intervals, making our function f of x look like this. The next function, g of x, has a limit as x approaches infinity of -2. So that's why it has a horizontal asymptote down here at y equals -2. When we have the negative interval, so starting at 0, it's going to go below the x-axis, but get closer to our horizontal asymptote. The next interval will stay above the x-axis and get over towards our vertical asymptote. On the third interval, we want to be negative and get closer to both asymptotes, which means it's not just going to be below the x-axis, it's also going to be below this horizontal asymptote, giving us a branch that looks like this. With h of x, obviously there's an oblique asymptote, and the limit as x approaches infinity of h of x is going to be -infinity, which is why on this interval it's negative. So let's deal with that interval first. Our graph is going to be below the x-axis and get closer to both asymptotes, which means it's going to be closer to both of these on this side. So that's what this branch looks like. On the middle interval, it's also negative. So we're going to extend from the 0 downward and get closer to our vertical asymptote. On the left interval, it's going to become positive and get closer to our oblique asymptote. So this is a sketch of the graph of h of x.